First of all, thank you everybody for joining me here today. I'm going to be talking about what it is like to work at Outsystems, what we do, and then in the end show you an awesome demo of the product that we create. So to start off, I'm Mariana Cabeda. I'm a software engineer at Outsystems. I've been here for about 3 years. I joined back in 2018 to do my master thesis in collaboration with Outsystems. And so after the thesis, I got the opportunity to join the company, and I've just been here ever since. So what do you think it is actually like to be a software engineer at Outsystems? What are the challenges during this past year that we've been working from home? Because now everything has been changing. Before we need to actually understand what is Outsystems. So when you think about programming languages, if you think about what is the hardest to work with, what is really the highest level of complexity, probably you think of assembly. It's very tricky to be able to do an application from one end to the other. It takes you a lot of time. You need to know a lot about memory management. And then you go to other languages like C, which has a bit more abstraction over assembly, but it's still quite tricky to work with from one end to the other while creating applications. Then you have things like C++, which abstract C even more. And then you go to things like C# or Java, which you can already see a big difference from if you want to create an application from scratch using just assembly, the time that will take you compared to when you create an application with C# or Java. Well, Outsystems actually takes this to the next level. What we created is a visual modeling language, our language called Outsystems, where you can create applications completely from one end to the other using just our tool and our language. But behind all of the abstractions and the simplified experience that we provide our customers, this is actually all of the technologies that our developers work with when we work at Outsystems. So you can see we work with a multitude of things: HTML, JavaScript, C#, React, Cordova, .NET, Oracle, SQL. So there's actually a very big misconception that when you work at Outsystems, you work just with Outsystems, which couldn't be furthest away from the truth. We work on all of these ton of technologies. There's actually even more. This is just the majority of them. And we work on all of this to be able to abstract all of the complexities and connections between all of these components so that our customers don't have to do it. So this is actually just the tip of the iceberg. Behind all of this, we have constantly over 300 test servers with more than 2,000 tests running per server, which accumulates over 700,000 tests running every day, 7 days a week. This just to make sure that whenever we introduce anything new to the product, that we're not breaking anything else. It is very important to make sure that the experience for our end customers continue to be very seamless, although we have a very big product. And actually, it all started back in 2001, right here in EST's laboratories, when our CEO, Paulo Cruzado, joined a few of his colleagues from the university, and they decided to start a company here in EST. So Paulo's idea from the beginning was already very revolutionary for that time. Yet he really wanted to make sure that people didn't have to be concerned about all of those initial things that you need to do to bootstrap an application, and that you could very quickly have an idea and implement it with no time wasting in the beginning. Normally, to do that with traditional technologies, you would have to spend months working on something until you actually have a first deliverable that you're able to put in production. But you wanted to be able to create something where you could think of an idea, and next week you would have something in production available for your customers. But this was back in 2001, and now fast forward to 20 years later in 2021, and we actually have over 1,200 customers scattered across 60 countries in more than 22 industries with 250 plus global partners and in a community of over 280,000 members. These are just some of our customers. You probably recognize most of these logos, and you can see just the difference in terms of industries that we have as customers. You have like insurance companies, through the healthcare system, car companies, football clubs, just all over the place. And this is actually a story of one of our dear customers, Mercy Ships. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this organization, but they are an organization that use ships as hospitals to bring healthcare to countries where, unfortunately, healthcare is little to not existent. And they use Outsystems to create all the applications that they require in order to make sure that all of their staffing needs are met, to create their staffing schedules, to make sure that all of their supplies are in order. And it's really cool to be able to work in a place where you know that what you work on every single day is being used by people that do work like this. It's really rewarding to know that you're able to help people like this create the tools that they require to do their day-to-day job. Well, I'm not sure if you noticed, but last year something kind of happened. And while we've been all battling with this invisible disease, Outsystems didn't just stop, and we wanted to create something to help everybody. So we actually created a community where people could just join and create applications. We were offering licenses for free to create applications to help us battle COVID. A lot of things were created. One of them that we like to mention is the application Todos por where doctors and patients could get together, and the doctors would be able to identify symptoms in patients and try to relieve the pressure from the Saúde 24 system. So we've been always trying to understand where in the society we can help. And this was one of the ways that we found how to do. And this was just not only in Portugal, also in Germany, we had a company using our tools to create an application that could trace the process of vaccinations in Germany, where people can actually apply to get vaccinated. And this entire process, from the first day they had an idea to actually having the app in production, a very complex application, took only just 2 months, which with any other technologies that would be very difficult. Regarding our culture, last year we had one of the biggest growths in terms of our staff so far. We now have over 1,000 people working from 15 countries, and we continue to grow. This year will also be a massive year for Outsystems. Out of those, around 400 people are from engineering alone. And going back to the times where we were able to go to the physical office, I was gathering some photos and being very nostalgic about it, from the times where we would, at Friday, at the end of the days, catch a beer in front of the office, or when we would get hungry at the middle of the days and would just make toast for everybody. We have like a supermarket across the street, so we were just always there buying food and sweets and sugar and candies. It was crazy. Also board games. Once it became nighttime, we would take over the office, and we really loved to play board games, so it was the perfect combination. And then just the team building, we would do a lot of fun stuff like bowling, rock climbing, canoeing, and a lot of stuff. And actually, there's a little cool story right here. So in this video right on the bottom right corner, this guy that is almost falling into the water, Nuno, he was the director of engineering at Outsystems. And you can just see how at ease everybody is working together and just having fun together. And this guy is the director of the engineering of a big company. And we just don't have that sense of someone is really high up in the hierarchy, so I'm scared to speak with them. That's totally not the case. Everybody's always very available, open and willing to speak with you and help you out. And that is one of the things that I really value the most here. But now things have changed a little bit. And actually, some were not for the worse. Most of them were actually for the better. Now that we don't have to stay all in one place to work in one physical office, there's actually no more boundaries. So we've become global. We have engineers all over the world right now. A lot of people from Brazil, the US, Ukraine as well, and other countries. You have some of here in the map. But our meetings became more like this. I'm sure you're all used to this by now. There's just a lot of squares with a lot of people on the screen all the time. but that didn't bring us down. Whenever we were able to, we still went to the office, of course, taking all of the safety precautions that we had to do. But even when we have to stay at home, we find the fun in the little things. So for instance, here we found a bug in the tool that we use every day for our daily tasks. And we just made a silly video about it, imitating the bug. So it's the little things. You find fun in everything. Then, of course, the Zoom backgrounds. I'm sure you're all very familiar with them as well, and tons of filters and all of that. Although we cannot have the beers at the end of the day in front of the office, we can still do it from home. So we actually have a little slot in our calendars every Friday afternoon at the end of the day, where we just get together and everybody can eat or drink whatever they have at home. And we just have some time to just be together and talk about whatever, not work related, and just feel like we're back together in the office again, which is really important. Our Dear People office have also really helped us through these times. They've created very fun challenges for us to do while we've been stuck at home. What they would do is they would provide us a challenge. We would do submissions, and then in the end of a few days, they would select the winners, and they would receive some awards. This was, for instance, a challenge where we were trying to understand who could actually cook, and I was very impressed. We were also trying to find the at-home gardeners. I'm sure, like me, all of you now have a bunch of plants at home and are just growing a lot of stuff at home. We are loving it right now. Of course, the pets could not be missed. They join all of our meetings anyway, so they're part of the staff at this point. So we just took some pictures of them wearing our shirts. And we've also been sharing more and more our work online with everybody. We really want to share what it is like to work at Outsystems every single day, the type of technical challenges that we have, and how we've been growing our community. So now that I've talked about all of this, are you ready for an awesome demo? I'm saying awesome. I'm the one that's doing the demo, so maybe let's see if it's awesome. I think it is. I think you'll find it awesome too. So for the demo, I was thinking of creating an application that we could all relate to. And I came upon Instagram because I'm pretty sure everybody here has Instagram installed on their phones. And if you say you don't, you're lying. Everybody has it installed nowadays. And I started to think how long actually Instagram took to be built. And like everybody does, I asked Google. And Google told me that Instagram actually took about 8 weeks to build and ship, which is not bad. But it was a product of over a year of work. So from the moment they had the first idea, it took them over a year of working on it to be able to ship it. What if I told you that I can actually do a smaller prototype of Instagram in about 10 to 15 minutes? Let's try it out. So I'm going to first show you here Service Studio. Service Studio is our development environment. So for traditional technologies, I'm sure in college you guys have used like Visual Studio or Visual Code or Eclipse or all of those tools. For our customers, what they use is Service Studio. Service Studio is our IDE that we create where they can build their applications from one end to the other. So when you open Service Studio, the first thing you see is a list of all of your current applications. And for this demo, we're going to create a new one. So you can have an option of either creating an app completely from scratch or to start from a pre-existing template of applications that we already have pre-built. So if you find anything from the pre-built applications that is similar to what you're trying to create, like in 5 minutes, you have something completely done and demoed ready. But let's start from scratch to make it a little bit more challenging. So since it's Instagram, I want to create an application that is more close to a phone application. So let's continue on and let's really just call it Instagram. Let's not, if I can type, I'm sure they're not going to see this, so we don't have to be concerned about copywriting and stuff like that. So now Instagram's icon is usually like they have a bunch of colors, but it's mostly pink. And I really like these annoying type of pinks. So I'm going to put a really bright pink in here. And we can now create our application. after you first create your application, you have your first module ready. Your module is basically like your first class of your application that you can start using to develop your code. You can then organize your application in several modules if you'd like to do so. So to start off, I was thinking of creating a screen where you can see basically like your Instagram feed, where you can see all of your posts from friends and family. I'm sure you're all very familiar with that screen and scroll it hours and hours on end every single day. I'm surely to blame for that. So let's add a first screen. And just like you have for the application, you also have a lot of screen templates that you can use with already pre-built logic, which makes it really, really fast to just create UI. But let's start from everything from scratch. And let's call this our feed screen. So we're going to create the screen, and there you have it. Let me give it a title so that when we see it in the phone, it has a title there. And now what I want to do is actually list just a bunch of posts, all the posts that my friends and family have inserted into their social media. And for that, I need to have a data source, right? So let me start off by going to the data tab. This is where you're going to manage all of your data resources for your application. And I have here the database. So for traditional technologies, just to start off a database, you would have a lot of challenges. You would need to worry a lot about connections. You would need to worry about creating scripts to create tables, to create all of the attributes for the tables, to make sure all the data types were correct. And then you would need to integrate all of that with your application. And that would be another challenge within of itself. So for here, I'm going to create a new table in my database. And it's just simple as clicking add entity. And I'm going to call this my posts table. And then to my table, I want it to have maybe like a title. That would be good. Let's add also a description. And here you can change the data type if you would like, but so far so good. Both the title and the description are texts, which is what I want. And then let's keep it simple and just finish it off with a photo, which is actually the most important part. And when I typed in photo, the data type already changed to a binary data type because it already knows from the text that you inserted that you most likely will want to display an image. So this is actually great so far. And now I want to list all of the contents from this table in my screen. And once more, if you were doing this with traditional technologies, you would have to create all of your interface for a list. You would have to create what goes into each item of your list. You would have to bring all the data individually for your screen, and that would take you a lot of time. With Outsystems, you just drag and drop it to the screen. And there you go, you have a list with all of your UI predefined and pre-built for you. Actually, I want to make it a bit more Instagram-like, so I don't want the image to be circular. I can just remove this style class from here. And I want the image, so in Instagram, you have like the big image and then the text below it. So let me just make this image bigger. And the text is already right there, so it seems to be in the perfect position. So just a final tweak before we test it out for the first time. I'm going to make this screen anonymous. This just make sure that we don't have to concern in the first prototype with logins and stuff like that. And now I can actually publish my first version of this application. And while we're publishing, what's actually happening in the background is we are converting all of this visual code into C#, JavaScript, and all of those technologies that I've showed you before in the slides. We basically create a solution, and then we compile that solution and publish it on our servers to deploy the application. So if you just click here and open in browser, you immediately have your application ready to go. But as you can see, the screen is empty, which if you think about it, it makes sense because we created a table, but we didn't add any posts to it. So maybe let's work on that first. So going back here to the interface tab where you work about all of the UI for your screens. Let's add maybe here on the top a little place where you can click and go to a screen where you create your posts. So let's add here an icon, and you can search here in this bar where you have all of your UI elements that you can very quickly use. Let's select a plus icon. And then let's say that I want, whenever I click that icon, I want it to go to another screen. So let's create a new screen. And just like before, let's start it from scratch. And let's call it upload posts. And now you have another screen. And right now, what you already have is the first screen, the feeds. And when you click on the feeds, you can click in this icon right here, which is basically a button that will send you to another screen. The screen right now is empty, but let's add some information here. So let's call it the upload post screen to have a little title there. And what I want to do here is I want to be able to have like a form where you can add all of the information you want for your post, and then you want to submit it and publish it and make it available for all of your friends. So let's start off by adding a form. So we actually have a form widget right here, which we can already use. Now, once again, if we were using traditional technologies, first you would have to create the form from scratch. Here, we just dragged it from the widget toolbar. And now actually to have all of the data in your form, you would have to add element by element, one by one, which would take a little bit of time. But once again, in Outsystems, it's as simple as a drag and drop. And we already know, since you dragged an entity to a form, that you will most likely want to edit this object and will want to create a new one. So this was already created for you, and you can edit it, add more things to the screen or remove things that you don't want. For instance, I have here this photo label, which I don't think it's necessary because you already know you're going to upload a photo here. And I have here a button that was called save, but I'm going to actually change the name to uploads because that's what I will want to do. And when I click this button, I want to now create the logic that happens when we actually submit a post. So when we submit a new post, we want to grab the object that was already created in that form, and we want it to insert it in the database. And let's see, we actually have some intelligence here built in, and let's see if it can actually guess what we are trying to do. And the first suggestion we get is to create or update posts, which is exactly the action that we want to do. And it actually already gives you the exact source that you want to insert into the database. So right now you already have all of your logic to add more posts to the database. Simple as that. And in the end, you probably just want to, instead of just staying the same screen, you want to move to the feed screen so that you're able to very quickly see your posts. So we can just recap this here. And you can see that you have your upload post screen now where you can upload your new pictures, give it some information. Once again, let's make it anonymous so that we don't have to log in to see it for the purposes of a prototype. And now while we wait for it to finish publishing, just a couple of seconds. Okay, so we are back here on our application. If we refresh, we get the notification that the application was updated because we added more things to it. You already can see here your button that will send you to your new screen to upload a post. So let's try to upload a post. Let's add here a photo, and I conveniently here have a photo of my team. And let's say that the title is Outsystems at Shopfest. If I can type, Shopfest. And Outsystems very excited to attend this year's Jobfest. Oh, actually, if you see when I was typing, I can't type anymore. And that is probably because I have like a restriction of the number of characters that I can add to that element, but I want my description to be bigger. So let's see what we can change over here. So the description input actually has a length of 50 characters, which I've probably already hit. So let's change this to 100. And when I did it, you notice that the input became yellow, which is a sign of a warning. And it actually is telling me that the length of the input and the description of the post in the database have different values. So here I have the input with 100. So let's check what's up with the description in the database. And here, just like it was telling me, it's a different value. So right here, it's already protected you from committing code that you would try to insert into the database values that would be bigger than the space that you have allocated for it. So just as quickly, you can update the same value in the database to make sure that you're able to insert as many characters as you want into that table. And let's try this again. So the application has been updated. Let's try to upload again. So I have here the same photo, Outsystems F job fast. So we can continue to type where I was before, job fast. And then you of course need to add hashtags because it's Instagram. So you need to, and then let's upload. And there you go, you have your first feed, your first post on your feed. And now that we have our first prototype working, what do you want to do? You want to share it with all of your friends and family and want to have a lot of posts to be able to search through while you're at night. It should actually just be asleep, but you're scrolling through Instagram. And to distribute an application in Outsystems, we already have everything that you need to be able to generate a native Android and a native mobile and a native iOS application, where in traditional technologies, you probably would have to have multiple versions of the same application to be able to distribute it across these different technologies because the code stacks are completely different. And if you create an application targeting just Android, you would have to create a completely new one for iOS. But here you just created the application once. And if you want to distribute it for Android, you just click this button and it will do everything in the background for you. In the end, you'll just get a pretty QR code that you can use to download the application. The same thing for iOS. And we actually have something else, which is progressive web apps. And PWAs, what they are is actually a web application that you can open. And right now I have here the QR code, but I can open it right here. You've probably seen this with other websites where you have this option right here to install the applications on your devices. And so you can install the application on your computer. Right now I have here my Instagram working on my computer or my desktop as an application, but I actually want to try it out on my phone. And you guys can try it out too. You can use this QR code and try it on your phones with me and we can all upload posts and nothing inappropriate, please, but we can all upload posts and see what we want to do. So let me first, with my phone here, scan this QR code. You can also take screenshots if you want to try it later. I'll keep this live for a while. So I just love that the pink is so obnoxious because you see it all over your screen now if you're trying it out. So I just opened the application on my phone and I have it right here. And I'm actually able to add more posts. I'm going to add a post here. I'm going to take a picture to my friend right here, Neo, the Outsystems mascot, which has been working alongside me since forever. And he's wearing a mask, so we're all safe. Everything is good. Let's see, let me then type title and the description. Okay, and I've just uploaded my photo. We have Neo right here, and because the phone screen is a bit weird to show you, I can actually show you in my browser application. Well, actually, I installed it on my computer, so I can just refresh it right here, and I can show you the picture that I just took of Neo. He works alongside me, and we have here a new post. This is quite big there, so I can show you here as well. So we have here the second feed, and someone else has also already contributed. Thank you. So we have here more posts, so you can keep it coming. And yeah, that is it. That's it for our Instagram. So as you can see, I'm not exactly sure how long we took because I was explaining you a bit more in the middle, but we just had our Instagram prototype working in just a few minutes. So I hope that was an awesome demo because the title was really hyping it up. And if you actually want to try out creating Outsystems applications, if you want to just see how it all works, you can just create an account at outsystems.com. We already provide for free personal environments that you can use to create applications and try it out if you want, if you're curious. So that's here, that's that. So we're almost nearing the end, but don't forget, we never forget our culture. This is actually our book, the small book of the few big rules. And this is a book that is very important for every Outsystems employee. This is the book that really describes the core rules of our culture. This is a book that is available online. If you want to check it out, you can just search for it. And although I don't have time to speak about all of the rules, one of my personal favorites is the rule number 4, which is be helpful. And I find it really important because when you're working with someone, you always need to be open to ask for help when you need to do so. And it's really, really good to feel that people are willing to help you no matter what. It really helps building an environment of trust. And you want to work with those people because you know that they're there for you. And in the end, we're all working towards the same goal. So we all want and will stick together. And just a final remark, you guys can join us too. So just like me, like I said in the beginning, I did actually my master's thesis in collaboration with Outsystems. And if that's something that you would like to do, you can do it as well. These are some of the titles from pieces that we did in this past year. And as you can see, we have things from all over the place. We have modeling UI, visual querying, program synthesizing, tracing of applications, machine learning, just the sky is the limit here. We are always trying to do new things and to innovate. So if you're interested in any of that, you can use this email, the internships email. You can take also a screenshot here if you want to save all of this contact information. And of course, if you want to speak with me directly, I also have here my email. You can reach out. I would be glad to speak with you guys. There's also here all of our social media handles if you want to see what we are up to. Our Instagram accounts, again, going back to the Instagram, of course, is always very fun. So if you want to follow us there, that would be cool. And that is it. I'm not sure now. People have questions?
Mariana, first of all, thank you so much. It was genuinely fascinating. I was laughing the entire time.
Cool.
It was great.
So it was an awesome demo?
It was indeed.
Yeah?
Okay,
indeed. Okay, cool.
I don't know if anyone has questions. Please ask them.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one from Mariana. What do you look for in a candidate?
Okay. In a candidate, well, we just really want people that have a passion to create new things. We have a very diverse engineering department, and if you have cool ideas and you like to experiment, and if you want to build something that has real impact in your customers, then that would be the right place, and we want you with us.
Thank you.
That's it.
Any other questions? I'll ask one question since, okay, Gonçalo has a question, which was basically similar to the question I wanted to make. Do you have summer internships for this year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we always have internships going on. So if you just go email at internships@outsystems.com, they will help you out and let you know exactly what we are able to have this year. But we're always looking for people to join us in these internships. So if you're interested, just email it and we'll make it happen.
Do you look for candidates in a particular area, or can you have anyone from all different areas?
Right now we're remote, so there's no restrictions in terms of where you live. It can be Portugal, all over Portugal. It can be in any other country. So
but from a academic background, not geographical. Academic background.
Okay, academic backgrounds. We also have people from a different set of backgrounds. So we have people from software engineering, which is my case. We also have people from other similar backgrounds. I'm not sure if Melissa wants to.
Yes, Mariana, I can help. Let me just introduce myself. because I am part of the talent acquisition team of Outsystems, so I work more on the HR and recruitment side. And as Mariana was saying, most of the people that we have come from computer science and software engineering, but we do have people that were coming from other degrees like physics or mathematics or other engineerings. So we do have that, but most of them are coming from computer science. And still talking about the internships, this year we are not planning on having a formal summer internship program, but we do have internships happening in the company. So just reach out to us and send us your CV, and we'll see if we can find a place where you can fit. And for people that are actually finishing their studies and looking for a full-time job, we are also hiring people that just finished their degrees and don't have any experience and are looking to start working. You can find everything on our careers page, which is outsystems.com/careers, and you can find it there.
Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa.
We have another question. Have you ever felt a cultural barrier when dealing with international clients?
Okay, so yeah, like I said before, we have clients from all over the world, and sometimes different cultures can change our interactions, but we have a lot of experts in all over the place. And in the end, we just want to make sure that the customer is satisfied, and we want to reach our common interests. So there's probably been times where it was a bit trickier to communicate and to reach that goal, but in the end, we are all human, and we just want to reach the best conclusion. So I think it's normal.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. Isabel has left a link here in the chat, which I believe it's for new positions
for the
at
job
Outsystems.
posts. Yeah, that Melissa was mentioning. Sorry for that, guys.
Yeah,
No
thank you.
problem. Okay, it's here in the chat for anyone who would like to see. Do we have any more questions?
If you remember anything a bit later, you can also reach out to me through my email. So I'll answer later as well.
Gonçalo leaving here with positive feedback. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Gonçalo. I'm glad you guys liked it.
Seems like we're a bit short on questions. We're almost on
I
time.
think people just get Zoom shy.
Yeah. But anyway, I'd just like to say big thank you to Outsystems. Thank you, Mariana. It was really an amazing presentation.
Thank you guys for having us and for being interested.
Thank you so much. If no one has any further questions, I think we'll close this webinar. Last chance for any questions? I don't think we're going to get more. Okay, thank you once again so much. It was an incredible presentation.